Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to Healing Wednesday in the Circle of 12. I'm Lee Carroll.
And I'm Monica Morani, and we are so excited to be doing the first Healing Wednesday program for the year 2023. So Happy New Year again.
Happy New Year again.
Hopefully everyone had a wonderful New Year's, and if not, well, from now it's going to be amazing, right?
Start over and we'll do it again.
Start with our program tonight and make it magical.
We're back every Wednesday evening of the year. We come together with special guests, questions and answers, discussions, meditations, and of course, channeling. Now, YouTube subscribers, thank you very much for watching. This is our once a month free program. Also, welcome to all of you who are joining us for the first time.
And a special welcome to the members of the Circle of 12 who receive one of these programs every single week of the year. If you're not a member, but you follow Circle of 12 on YouTube, 113. You can find all the other programs that you've missed from the beginning of the series with a subscription. And you can get your subscription very easy. It's cryonmasters.com and have access to this wonderful weekly program. Now, the first of the month program, we've already mentioned, it's free. That's what you're watching now. And of course, we're going to keep on delivering this. But truly, the reason that we can do that is because of our wonderful, amazing Healing Wednesday members. So right now, I want to thank all of you who have been a member both in the past, right now, the future members to come, even if it's just for a month. Every time you have contributed to us, you've made this free program possible. And what's so awesome is that for those who sign up today, not only do they get the current programs and the streams yet to come, but they get access to 100 past programs, well, over 100 now, and the library is building all the time to 100 past programs, well, over 100 now, and the library is building all the time. In addition, our members receive many, many other extras, including special videos of Lee explaining things and so much more.
And of course, the YouTube library is also growing, and it's growing. And this library here with its own playlist never expires. You can watch these programs as long as you wish. So YouTube subscribers, please take a look at some of these great programs from the past, perhaps with some wonderful guests you may not even have heard of or know about. That'd be great, and you could view them. Of course, goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway. Here comes. Click the subscribe button and be a regular part of this profound and free experience.
Now, speaking of profound and free experiences, Lee and I want to tell you about a brand new series of programs that we have produced that, well, we feel they're incredibly important for humanity. The series, it's called Topics for Our Time. And this is where we delve into some very sensitive yet profoundly moving topics that have uplifting and heartwarming resolutions. Specifically, we present personal stories that highlight what many are going through. They're the things that Cryon has told us to watch for because of the compassionate action that's resulted from it. We wanted you to know about these programs since 2 episodes, they've already been broadcast and they're available right now for free. In addition, a 3rd episode is going to be coming and available later this month.
So let's start by telling you a little bit about these programs, where you can find them and view them. The very first episode features Eliza Ann McDaniel, who has written several books, but the first one was Behind Closed Doors. It's the kind of story that hides in our society. This will be revealed in this new energy, a lot of it, and we'll have healing through then that exposure. This is exactly what we are doing through airing these free programs. Eliza's story is about families that appear outwardly normal, but yet hiding beneath the surface are dark secrets, the horrific abuse of their own children. Despite such awful encounters, Eliza openly shares her story of how she overcame this in her life and went on to help so many others to do the same. In her words, forgiveness is the key to unlocking the prison of your own mind and will set you free. Her new book, or second one, with a great title, I love this one, Journey to the Heart. We honor Eliza for bringing us this information.
Now, the second episode, it's the story of the Abundant Love Project, told by a personal friend of ours, Deborah DeLisi, who was actually so how do you deal with that? What can you do? Well, this is where Deborah tells her story that I would truly love everyone to hear about and to just see how she was able to turn her grief and sorrow into love and compassionate action that has subsequently touched thousands of lives, one at a time, all over the world. Her story is simply amazing. It's beyond anything that either Lee or I could ever have expected to happen. We'd love for you to experience her compelling story about how one ripple of kindness, it can change someone else's life. Perhaps after watching, you too may want to become an ambassador of kindness.
So the third episode is very Cryon-esque, a word that I made up, something that has been the subject of many channelings over the past years. And we want you to meet Andy Berger. Andy is the founder of Voices Against Trafficking, subject of many channelings over the past years. And we want you to meet Andy Berger. Andy is the founder of Voices Against Trafficking, an international organization dedicated to the eradication of human trafficking in the United States and abroad. Andy, herself a victim of unspeakable abuse, is a highly sought-after international speaker and advocate for those who cannot speak for themselves. Her book, A Fragile Thread of Hope, One Survival's Quest to Rescue, is available on Amazon.com with 45% of the net proceeds going to victims of child abuse and sex trafficking.
And these stories, they're about the heroes of the heart. They really are champions over duality. The stories are given with love and uplifting solutions to help find peace and self-worth. So the next question is, where can we watch all these episodes of this amazing free program? Well, that in the top right on the menu, there's a pull-down menu called Freebies, and click on Topics for Our Time. As you scroll down the page, you'll be able to watch all the episodes. And if you're seeing this on the live broadcast today, which is January 4, 2023, the third episode with Andy Berger, it's going to be coming out this month. So stay tuned to watch for that. And while you don't have to register to view the programs, because they're free and available on that page, if you'd like to be notified about future episodes to come, well, you can sign up for notifications on that same page. Next, I'd like to move into another part of the program where I choose a quote or a saying from Cryon and I ask Lee to explain, because Spirit often talks and communicates to us in metaphors, and sometimes even though the phrase can feel like we've got it at face value, there's always little nuances and meanings behind the meanings. So I'm going to ask Lee to explain this next quote. Blessed is the human being who understands the power they really have over everyday life and occurrences. So Lee, can you explain to us about that?
Happy to.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those sleeper quotes.
It really is.
Because we talk about it all the time, but I want to do it again. It means so much more than what it appears to mean. You know, we get so many questions that I would say show underlying issues of what I'll call really programming of expectations in our life. What were you told as a kid about who controls everything around you? Well, it depends. It depends totally on your circumstances, but often they really control you. I mean, you better behave or you know what's going to happen. But, you know, it's how many of us hear this. Listen, if you hear this from me, you are in control of everything around you, and what happens to you? What would you say? Well, many have already said, that's crazy, Lee. Nobody has control over things you don't know about. I mean, come on. If you don't know about them, how you can even have control over them? Well, welcome to being programmed that, quote, we're not in control, so don't even try. And that is the current programming. Somebody is always in control over you, and you can make the list yourself. That's how we're programmed, that's how we're taught. As far as being in control of what we can't see, the thing that everyone rolls their eyes in about, this whole idea that, you know, what's coming, how could you be in control of what you don't know? Well, that's the metaphysics we teach, folks, right here, all the time. Be in control of what you don't know. Well, that's the metaphysics we teach, folks, right here, all the time. Perhaps it's time to reframe what you were told. Your attitude, your expectations, your very thoughts are set up for what arrives at your door. I want to say that again. Your attitude, your expectations, your very thoughts are set up for what arrives at your door. And that phrase, arrives at your door, means what happens to you. Well, a lot of people right away, I'm losing. Since consciousness is energy, everyone, we have shown that, we've proved that. You create with your consciousness a setup for what happens around you. If you set up the energy of worry, then the things you worry about are going to be at your door. You want me to say that again? No. If you set up the energy of hatred or anger, that's what you're going to receive. Over and over. Krein has told us that our then comes to the table with the waiter presenting it to you. Here's what you asked for. This is the way we live our lives, and it works. This is the way Monica and I live our lives, and it works. Some would call this power, if you want to even say that, this attribute, the power of attraction. I don't care what you call it. It works. Yet when we tell people about this, they often roll their eyes. They tell us that God would not allow it. We've heard that before. Or others are in control, so we couldn't do it. But for those people who say that, they will indeed get what they expect. So why not expect benevolence in your life or love to win out over the hatred? Krein tells us that we have a great deal of power almost everything that surrounds us.
We certainly do have a great deal of power, and that's what that free episode series that showcases those champions of duality, great deal of power, and that's what that free episode series that showcases those champions of duality really show how we do have the power to bring love into our life and overcome our circumstances. I'd like to now take a question from one of our viewers and have Lee answer it. And this question comes from Patrick. Patrick is in Geneva, Switzerland. Patrick's saying, many people are feeling that ascension is near. Can you tell me more? I feel that the door to the new dimension is near me, but I can't see it. I feel it only.
Patrick, you and I are the same. I have been feeling this same thing for a long time. That's a good word to use. You can just feel something's coming. My disappointment, along with yours, is that I don't see it yet. The news is awful. It's still awful. And there are still many of us were looking forward to ascension on this planet. In fact, it was even called ascension status. And what that means is a state of higher consciousness that would really be obvious and would start changing humanity forever. In that very old paradigm, we often expected to have a trumpet sound and everything would be changed. You know what I mean. We expected something instant. However, now we understand more about our responsibility to make it happen, to create it, and how long then it might take. I see advancement in small ways and in big ways. Light is starting to win in lots of areas that were dark before, but I also see very old energy still doing its best to keep us the way it used to be. I think you know what I mean. So as Krein has told us, it's going to happen slowly, over time. But we'll see more light winning more and more. When I see what people's reaction are to old consciousness things, I'm hopeful, because we haven't seen that before. Then I clearly see an effort to hold this planet back. I see that in the news. Hold it back from any enlightened ideas at all, or from any actions that's going to create light. And then I know it's going to take a while when I see that. Meanwhile, like you, I feel it coming. I can really feel something happening around us, even among very dark future talk. Let's talk about that. Again, I'm reminded by Krein that gossip and talk about a dark future seems to actually be very attractive to many. Indeed, it often gets the front page or the widest distribution, but then it often is only talk, just opinion. And then when all of that doesn't happen, the dark futurists tell it the way they tell it. People will say, they don't hold them responsible. They say, well, what else have you got? This is really interesting. Forward to hear what might happen that's horrible. You got horrible news, I'll lean forward and listen to it. But good news is not received in that same way. Do you think we might have been programmed to lean forward to hear bad stuff? I do. Again, it's a very old program that we have come out of, and for many, it's still the way of it. It's going to happen. Patrick, it's going to change. I feel it too. Great question. Let's continue to expect the light.
And speaking of expecting the light, we know that the light is generated from within. So let's use that light within and the subject of ascension as a brief time to do a small meditation before the Kryon channel. I invite you to close those beautiful, precious eyes of yours. Tune in to the light that was. Close those beautiful, precious eyes of yours. Tune in to the light that is within your body, within your DNA, within your cells. At the moment of conception, there was a spark of light that is known in biology. So your whole biological structure was created by this magic of light at that very, very moment of conception that occurred for you. So you have the light within you to radiate outwards. And there's nothing really to do other than just reminding yourself of that deep connection that is in you and giving yourself permission to increase your level of awareness. Elevated can have a higher consciousness, a more ascended consciousness. And it's as simple as that in your everyday words, thoughts, feelings, and actions. What would the higher road of consciousness do in that situation? I give permission to walk on that path, the elevated path, the one of high consciousness that has the deep wisdom to know when to just hold fast and shine the light. And so now let us hear from Kryon how we can continue to hold fast and shine our light.
Greetings, dear ones. I'm Kryon of Magnetic Service. This is, or would seem to be, the first channeling. It is actually not, for there has been a channeling, and it's happened before on a program which some of you know about called The Double Digit. It is there where I revealed the name or energy of the year. I'm going to do that for you yet again. I do that because there are so many who see this is the demarcation point of something new. Well, it is the new year. Would you be shocked if I told you that Spirit does not have a calendar? That we do not then mark years like you do? Or we come out with revelations at a certain time as you desire them? One of the things that you saw just recently is how we have labeled the energy of last year and the year before, and the year before. We called it the years of revelation. And it didn't change at a new year. In fact, it stayed. Again, because times and energies don't necessarily mix. The clock does not necessarily then go as you would expect it to go, along with the energies that you would expect to have. Indeed, they don't. And yet, I will honor you with a change of energy, a new word to look at. These 4 channelings for this month will all be about the new year, honoring you for the various attributes of what you expect, for the planet, for the world, humanity, yourself perhaps, what it means, because these, yourself perhaps, what it means, because these are significant changes going on. Let's first talk about last year. Those who do numerology know that it is a complex science. Numerology identifies often the energies of numbers. And in certain systems, those energies will then tell you what it is that is happening around those energies. And that is why when you look at the year's numbers, the 2022 and 2023, you would say, well, what do they mean? Sometimes they don't mean what the numerology says they should. And that's because of the numbers within and what they may mean. Now, don't self is a study of science. 2022 would appear to have been a very good year. And the reason is because when you add those numbers up, you get a 6. In Tibetan numerology, a 6 is divinity, harmony, love, beauty. And what you got was a war. So you might say, what was wrong with that numerology? And I will tell you, now we have some of the complications of the numerology to look at. In the year 2022, what should have yelled at you if you were one to study numerology is the 22. Because right in the middle of the year and the number sequence, there was a master number. And when you have that, you must look at right in the middle of the year and the number sequence, there was a master number. And when you have that, you must look at the meaning of the master number first and not the total of the numbers together. All this to say that what was really the meaning numerologically of last year was the 22. 22 is a master number that has always been the one that puzzles people because it speaks of cosmic law and duality. And both of those don't sound very enjoyable. And they're not. When you see a master 22, it's going to be about learning, about change, about things happening which force other things to go certain ways. It's about struggle. Cosmic law, featured in duality. It has results, always. That is why it is a master number. It's a master number even of completion, although that is also complex to talk about. Last year, you got to see something spectacular in duality. Those who really believed that they could take something of 40 to 50 years ago and put it right back on you and you'd buy it. And they felt that so completely because that's the way they grew up. And it always worked before. And that is the way that things happened in their lives, of the golden era of what they wanted and what they were about. And you got war. Was it a shock to you? To so many it was. And you got to see the reaction to it. These years that have passed, these last 2, perhaps even these last 3, have all been about revelation. They reveal that which has been in the dark. They reveal agendas you never thought you'd see on the planet. The revelation could be ugly. It was. It still is. But now you go into something, don't misunderstand this. You go into a word I'm going to give you called recovery. You recover from something, perhaps that has been injurious, Or you might have had a laughing fit in a theater and you recover from that and you catch your breath. Recovery means a return to something that you create. You recover to a normal that you create. Now, perhaps it's a new normal. Recovery does not mean you return to an old way. It means you come out of something and you settle into a new way. This is the energy that starts now. Now, I might tell you that this energy is going to continue. And next year, as I sit here, I may tell you the same word. You're still in recovery. But that is what the planet is looking at as a whole. Now, you will say, well, wait a minute, Cryon, there's nothing to recover from. If you talk to those in the war, they're still at war. How can they possibly recover? This is the year that starts the energy of recovery for things that are going to happen. The year that starts the energy of recovery for things that are going to happen that you have not seen yet. That ought to give you hope for resolution, for solution, for things that seemed unsolvable. Perhaps a complete turnaround is going to occur that you didn't expect, that creates a resolution, and that you recover from these things. Think of this entire earth, taking a deep breath, and say, we're glad we're over that. And when you want to define what that means, the word that, it's not the war. That is an old energy of thousands of years of fighting, of killing each other, of low consciousness, of not knowing the kinds of things. Being a recovery is something that is planetary, not all at once, not for everyone, but cumulatively will be. Did you get that? There's hope. And I wouldn't give you this unless there was. For those who want to add up the bad things that are happening to you, to the planet, I tell you this, you get what you expect. Why not add up the good things? Or why not expect those things which some feel are in the works that are going to happen? And expect that which is recovery and solutions and answers that are on their way. It begins now. There is hope for this planet. You are in the right place. They've given you now for 3 years. Maybe you have come from the worst of it. Maybe there's a few things left. But dear ones, light is coming. And the revelations of all of the ugly things and the darkness on this planet are starting to diminish. Because you're starting to see the darkest of the dark. And now it's time to do something with it. I'm crying in love with humanity for all you're going through, for all that is there, for all that will be there, in love. And so it is.
And very gently, very softly, I invite you to bring your awareness back in. Invite you to bring your awareness back into your body. If you've had your eyes closed, I invite you to open your eyes and yet still have that flow of energy from Cryon coming with you and staying with you in this next part of our program. Lee and I are absolutely delighted to be having two amazing guests joining us this evening. They are the incredible, amazing, dynamic duo of Jonathan and Andy Goldman. And I want to make sure they're there on the Zoom feed with us. Jonathan and Andy, are you there?
We are here and delighted to be here.
Happy New Year to everybody.
Absolutely, and Happy New Year to both of you. And before we allow you to tell us all about what is happening in the world of sound for the two of you, we want to tell everyone about you.
What many of you
Tell everyone about you.
What many of you don't really need an introduction to Jonathan Goldman, and that thousands of you have lived with his Grammy-nominated music for years, and that includes me. I mean, I've got a star, and I've got 2 stars on my show.
Yes.
I'm very excited. It's also the second time that we've had him on our show, and this is the first time he has appeared with his life's partner, Andy. Jonathan Goldman is a very well recognized international authority and pioneer, really a pioneer in the field of sound healing, and that's why he's here on this show. He is a renowned writer, musician, and a teacher.
So Jonathan's the author of several books, including Healing Sounds, which has celebrated its 30-year anniversary. How amazing is that? There's also The Divine Name, and it's the past winner of a Visionary Award for Best Alternative Book of the Year. And then there's another one called The 7 Secrets of Sound Healing. Intrigued? Well, you should be. Include chakra chants, The Divine Name, and Reiki chants. And his most extraordinary album as well is called Tibetan Master Chants, which was a Grammy finalist for Best World Music.
He is the founder and director of the Sound Healers Association and CEO of Spirit Music. Jonathan Goldman was named as one of the Watkins Mind, Body, Spirit magazine's 100 most spiritually influential living people. Now, some of you know that John and I actually share that together, and we're very happy that Watkins has listed us as living people.
I think Andy and I are both happy. You're both listed as living people as well. So let me tell you about the delightful Andy Goldman. She is a licensed psychotherapist. She specialises in holistic counselling and sound therapy. She's the director of Healing Sound Seminars, the wife and partner of Jonathan Goldman. Together, Jonathan and Andy have co-authored Chakra Frequencies, which is the winner of the Visionary Award for Best Alternative Health Book of the Year. And their best-selling book, The Humming Effect, which if you remember when Jonathan appeared last on our program, we were talking about the humming effect. Well, that too has won an award in 2018, the Gold Visionary Award for Best Health and Healing Book, both from Inner Traditions.
Well, together, Jonathan and Andy have dedicated their lives to a path of service, helping to awaken and empower others with the ability of sound to heal and transform. That's what it's all about. Andy and Jonathan, welcome to the show.
Oh, Monica and Lee, thank you so much for the beautiful introductions and for having us on today. What a treat this is.
Well, what I'd like to know is, where are things now for today?
And for having us on today. What a treat this is.
Well, what I'd like to know is, where are things now for today? Because kind of the subject of what you want to share with us is from humming to harmonics. What is going on in the world of sound for the two of you today?
Well, it is a real blessing because I've been in this field for, Healing Sounds has had its 30th anniversary edition release. I've probably been in this field for over 40. Andy and I have been working together
for 27 years
and,
as of this year.
And it just sound continues to grow and be really, if you like, embodied by so many different people as a great way of shifting and changing our vibrational level, our body, mind, and spirit. We thought that we would share with you some really important overall, if you like, concepts for healing. Something as simple as that. And Andy, where do you think I should begin?
Well, I tell you, the title of our talk today is From Humming to Harmonics. And so I think we'll take our audience on a journey, perhaps, Jonathan, starting with the effects of how sound affects us.
How about even going one step before that, and how sound overall heals. And the idea of that is very, very simply that everything in the universe is in a state of vibration. from the electrons moving around the nucleus of an atom to planets in distant galaxies moving around their suns. And if they're in vibration, they're conceptually at least creating a sound. And this includes our body. Every organ, every bone, every tissue, every part of our body is in a state of vibration, We are, if you like this wonderful orchestra that's playing the symphony of the self. But what happens if the second violin player hits the wrong notes? They lose their sheet music, they're hitting the wrong notes, and all of a sudden the entire orchestra actually begins to sound off. And this is, if you like, akin to a part of our body vibrating out of its proper, normal, healthy, resonant frequency. And if you like, it's vibrating out of ease, out of harmony. We say it's diseased. So the very, very basic principle of using sound as a healing modality is simply to restore to that string player, the sheet music, to restore to the body that part of the frequency spectrum that it was missing and vibrating. So getting it to basically vibrate back in tune. It's very simple, but it's actually found in almost all of the alternative therapeutics.
And when we're talking about sound, and we'd like to tell you about each one of those topics. And I'm going to start with vibroacoustics, because that is when we are actually feeling the sound going directly into our bodies at a deep cellular level. And now it's interesting because there are a lot of things that can, the sound can go in our body, but we are happy to tell you that in our experience, the most powerful vibroacoustic sound is through our own voice, through humming. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more in a moment. But Jonathan, maybe you could talk about psychoacoustics.
Wait, one more little tidbit about vibroacoustics. Here's a quote from the New York Times, just so you know this is real and that it's not brand new. February 8th, 1988. New York Times. So you know this is real and that it's not brand new. February 8th, 1988. New York Times. The subheader of the science section was "Sound Shaped into Dazzling Tool Can Make, Break, or Rearrange Molecular Structure." So we're talking about a power, an energy that can rearrange molecular structure, and that's an aspect of vibroacoustics. But the other way, and very, very important way that sound affects us as well, is called psychoacoustics, and that's where the sound goes into our ear, into our brain, affects our nervous system, our heart rate, our respiration, our brain waves. And in fact, as we listen to music, and we're going to talk a little bit about the importance of listening to harmonics, for example, but as we listen to music or even our voice, we are responding to that. And indeed, we like to say that it's really important that when we speak even in a conversational manner, that they pick it up and you're using your voice as a healing instrument, even with conversational voice, if it's encoded with love.
And along with that, I want to just mention a formula that Jonathan created probably 40 years ago, and that is frequency plus intent equals healing. So, Jonathan, what you were just saying, the importance of having that intention, holding that intention of love and healing and compassion, loving kindness, all of that is so very important when we are working with sound, whether it's our own sounds vibroacoustically or we're listening to sound psychoacoustically.
Totally. And, it was so interesting with this frequency plus intent equals healing. When this first came to me a long time ago, it was very, very difficult to be talking to people about the importance of intentionality. A long time ago, it was very, very difficult to be talking to people about the importance of intentionality. They kind of looked at me and would scratch their head and would say, is this guy from another planet? Which I am. But regardless...
I can vouch for that. I think I'm too.
Regardless, it's so wonderful now you get the work of Bruce Lipton and Joe Dispenza and Lynn McTaggart and Masaru Emoto, all these people doing work on the importance of intentionality, so that, now people go, oh yeah, I understand that, so I can talk about intention, and that is just so very, very cool. So intention is very, very important. That was first projected in my book, Healing Sounds. The first time that manifested as a formula on the planet. I didn't create the idea. That's been found in all the magical and spiritual traditions since the beginning, was they would do vocalization plus visualization equals
So you can imagine, through all these many years, Jonathan 40-some, me almost 30, we have worked with so many different frequencies, so many different sounds, mantras, sacred vowel sounds. And, several years ago, we were talking about, we really want to bring sound to the people in a way that people who may not have even known about the concept of sound for healing, but when they could make sound and utilize their own voice, how could we do that? And so we looked at each other and we went, what is that sound that everybody can make, that everybody can relate to? And we just looked at each other and went,
And then we began to investigate the power. the power of the hum. I'm going to jump for a second and just suggest one quick thing before we get into the hum, because we're going to dive into that, quite deep. But I want to just suggest that my book, Healing Sounds, is subtitled The Power of Harmonics. And I just want to share briefly what harmonics are. Harmonics are the color of sound. On a level, they are the magical aspect of sound that makes our voices all unique. And what's important about this is two aspects. Number one, we realize that for the most part in the universe, single tone frequencies for the most part don't exist. There are actually multiple composite, mathematically oriented frequencies that are called harmonics that make our sounds occur as they do. That's number one. Number two, they are the colors of sound. And I believe might have been Cryon talking about new colors coming in. I said, aha, yes. And we may begin to hear also the colors of sound. So on a level, talking about psychoacoustics, the fact that as you become aware of harmonics, and you become aware of them, listening first to them, then being able to create them. Literally, the way that you experience reality is shifted and changed because one of your primary senses, the sense of that we perceive of as being sound, whether it's hearing or making the sound, is shifted, it's enhanced, and it's like amplified, and it becomes greater. So it's almost like getting a superpower when you begin to encompass the world of harmonics.
Right. And it's interesting because when in every sound in nature, there are many, many, many different sounds that are going on simultaneously that we don't consciously hear, but once we open up to harmonics, there are many, many, many different sounds that are going on simultaneously that we don't consciously hear, but once we open up to harmonics, we do begin to hear them. And it's almost like we take these sonic earmuffs off and we start really hearing at much deeper levels.
And interesting, I'm just going to share for a moment, one of the things that is found in the book and different exercises we have, including the work with chakras and all that stuff, is the fact that different parts of our body and the etheric centers will vibrate with different sounds. And just as if you want to experience this at home, if you make an ah sound, put your hand on your heart and just make an ah sound, and then at the top of your head and go an e sound. You go ah, e, ah, e. Do it once more. Ah, vowel sounds have different sets of harmonics that are most pronounced, and they are responsible for the vibroacoustic resonance that we occur as well. So with that one, just wanted to share that with you as another little experience of the fact that we're going to be diving into humming about right now, but I wanted to share with you that the vowel sounds also are interrelated with the hum.
Well, and that's a really easy thing that people can try at home, is just putting your hand on your heart and the top of your head and going ah, e, ah, e. And so we wanted to just give people an opportunity to begin to work with harmonics in a small way.
And these self-created sounds, particularly the hum, have all sorts of therapeutic effects. Andy?
When we are utilizing our voice for self-created sound, there's so many physiological benefits that are happening in our bodies. There's more oxygen that is generated in our cells. Our heart rate is lowered. Our blood pressure is lowered. And there's a myriad of different hormones that are emitted, such as melatonin, which regulates our sleep cycle, and other things as well. And also, what I love is when we're making sound together with other people, the hormone oxytocin is released, and that is the trust hormone. And oftentimes when we're sounding together, we feel this connection with those people around us in the world around us. And that's that oxytocin. And of course, we don't want to leave out nitric oxide, which is a molecule that, Jonathan, take it away. He loves to talk about this.
I think that nitric oxide won the molecule of the year by Science magazine, like 1998. So it's not new, but it was discovered, and it's a vasodilator, which means it opens up and widens your circulatory system, which is no small thing. It's hugely important. The other thing that has really come into consciousness lately is the fact that nitric oxide is also an antiviral agent. So if you begin to hum, you get 15 times the amount of nitric oxide normally generated, and it's enough to take care of some nasty critters that may lodge in your sinus cavity. So people with sinusitis, for example, can work with the humming and have very, very therapeutic effects.
Right. It also stimulates, when we're humming, it also stimulates the vagus nerve as well, which is that main nerve in our bodies. And so what we do like to say, though, is when we talk about humming, we call it conscious. What we do like to say, though, is when we talk about humming, we call it conscious humming, because we're very consciously making the sound. We're taking a nice deep breath, a nice diaphragmatic breath. We call it a belly breath. It's, easy to put your hands on your belly and feel that belly expand with that inhale. And on the exhale, we can begin to hum. And when we do that consciously, or even unconsciously, all of these physiological benefits that we just talked about are occurring.
And you notice that Andy hummed on one note. She wasn't doing zippity-doo-dah, which is great, but he hit one note. You get this vibroacoustic field that is generated. In fact, what we'd like to do with you is just for everybody to experience doing 5 conscious hums. What do you feel? What's happening? Take a couple of nice, slow, deep breaths. Check yourself out, Andy.
Take those nice, deep breaths and feel your body just coming into a place of relaxation. And after you've taken a few nice, deep breaths, we're going to then begin on the exhale to have that hum coming out. So, Jonathan, shall we begin that?
Right, that'd be quite lovely. So
okay, so let's take that in breath, and when we exhale, we will begin to hum, and we'll do this 5 times.
Right, and then we'll be silent for just a minute, because silence is the, if you like, aspect of sound. It's the yin to the yang of sound, and in the silence is where the true shifts and changes occur. So we're just going to sit here for a few moments afterwards, because this is, Hey, key element, don't you think?
And absolutely. And I do want to mention that it is in that silence that we really begin to listen within, and we hear our own inner wisdom coming through. So that silence is golden. So here we go. Taking a nice deep breath. And on the exhale, we'll begin to hum. And please, everyone who is listening or watching, please join us. Breathing in. Breathing in and exhale on the hum. Breathing in, exhaling. And one more time, breathing in and exhaling. And now we'll be in silence for just a few moments.
And now I'm forcing myself to come back because even though I'm in a semi-blissful state, our time with you is coming to an end, and we wanted to just share one really last important, from our perspective, and perhaps from a planetary perspective, important event that is happening this February 14th, 2023. It's a Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken.
It is a Tuesday.
And it is called World Sound Healing Day. And this is our 21st annual World Sound Healing Day. And people throughout the worldsoundhealingday.org, and there are hundreds of different events and thousands of different people who co-create sacred sound to manifest and project a sonic Valentine for the Gaia Matrix, our beloved Mother Earth, in order to raise the vibratory field of all sentient beings. So we invite you to check that out on Valentine's Day.
Oh, come and sound forth for healing for Mother Earth. And as you do that, remembering that we heal ourselves.
We heal the planet.
We heal the planet.
And we heal ourselves.
So World Sound Healing Day, February 14th.
And thank you so much for this opportunity of sharing with you just a little bit of aspect, but sound is among the most. In the beginning was the Word. Sound is a truly powerful and transformative energy form. And sacred sound coupled with intentionality.
It's left, and thank you for everything you've shared. How did you meet?
Well, we met 27 years ago. And honestly, we had a mutual friend that many people may remember, Don Campbell.
Produced the Mozart
Effect. And Don and I had known each other from our early 20s, and Jonathan and Don knew each other. And we met through Don back in 1995.
Wow, right. And
Yeah.
It's just, for Lee, as you know, what a blessing and what a gift it is to have a partner who is just a friend, someone you can just hang and be with. I mean, I give thanks every day.
Oh, we both do, and it's so fun to share Monica and Lee, with the two of you. 95.
Wow, right. And
Yeah.
it's just, for, Lee, as you know, what a blessing and what a gift it is to have a partner who is just a friend, someone you can just hang and be with. I mean, I give thanks every day.
Oh, we both do, and it's so fun to share Monica and Lee with the two of you, because we have this feeling that you feel the very same way.
We do, and
It is such a blessing.
yeah,
And
we're always wondering how it was that you were so interested, and you complimented what I do, and I compliment what you do. And were you both aware of your interest in sound? Obviously, Jonathan, you've had so much experience in all this, but Andy, it was a surprise to find out that you were so credentialed. And so,
well, the reason that, as a psychotherapist, we're close friends, we had known each other since our early 20s. So I would go to his workshops. He'd always bring me over music, and all of the people that studied with him would come and stay with me. So I was very connected to the world of sound. However, I never quite knew I would be as connected as I ended up being with Jonathan.
And I'm just going to share that from my perspective, when Annie and I first met, I said, this is among the most compassionate beings I have ever encountered on the planet. And I said, whatever it takes, I'm going to make this work.
I love that.
Dittoing that.
I love that. You guys are just amazing, and love the simplicity of what you're sharing about the humming and that exercise that we did, because anyone can do it. I am not a singer. Lee can attest to that. But humming doesn't, anyone can do it. I am not a singer. Lee can attest to that. But humming doesn't require any training, and you instantly have the health benefits and the health effects. And I actually feel that we're returning to what our ancestors did. Andy, when you mentioned about coming together and being entrained and singing, we did that as our ancestors. Singing and dance and celebration was part of village life, community life. And so I love that we are recreating what we did as ancestors in a very, very, very distant past, which the Indigenous still do today, and that I feel you are showcasing in the World Sound Healing Day. Is there any last words for people just before we go to the break that you want to share with people about what your passion is for people to know about humming?
Portal of consciousness that has been used in spiritual traditions since the beginning. And we invite you to journey into this realm, because it is perhaps one of the great, safe, and powerful ways of getting contact with the divine.
And what I'd love to say in closing is, of course, as a holistic psychotherapist working with sound, when we are doing something as familiar as humming, we reduce the levels of stress in our bodies. We come into balance, and we can be our own therapist. So there are so many just blessings to work with, to have when we are working with sound. So.
Thank you so much. Thank you both for joining us and sharing the beauty of sound and in
our bodies. We come into balance, and we can be our own therapist. So there are so many just blessings to work with, to have when we are working with sound. So.
Thank you so much. Thank you both for joining us and sharing the beauty of sound, and inviting us all on February 14 for the 21st Annual World Sound Healing Day. So please, everyone, take a break now for 10 minutes. You might want to go and have a look at the website, healingsounds.com. But I can't believe our time is over. I wanted it to continue.
It went quick.
It did. So again, we're going to take a 10-minute break, and then we'll see you back here for the Circle of 12.
In fact, she was a sound healer and a psychotherapist, and all those things are a surprise. But wow, I can understand why they work together.
Absolutely.
As close as they have.
And their sound is so healing,
Wow.
so soothing.
I hope you enjoyed it. It's time again to do what we are calling Miracle Moments. And this program you're watching, of course, is all about healing. It's about sending and receiving energy, something that old souls do very well. I'd like to ask Monica to share some miracles that two precious old souls have received.
So the miracles have been shared in the membership portal, but whether you're a member or not, we want to celebrate miracles that have happened. So if you want to put a miracle that's happened to you in the chat, do that now, because it's so important that we take time to celebrate our victories, celebrate those miracles that happen on a daily basis. And sometimes we get the really big Hollywood kind of miracles as well, but it's celebrate miracles that have happened. So if you want to put a miracle that's happened to you in the chat, do that now, because it's so important that we take time to celebrate our victories, celebrate those miracles that happen on a daily basis. And sometimes we get the really big Hollywood kind of miracles as well, but it's more about celebrating, acknowledging that these miracles happen. And so now I want to share two miracles that have happened for two of our members. One is from Tonya, and Tonya says, Healing Wednesday has made a tremendous influence in my thought process. I'm searching so earnestly to find answers to lifelong questions. My miracle is that I've been healed not only physically, but spiritually and mentally as well. I feel so much stronger and healthier. So happy to hear that, Tonya. That I didn't believe how quickly and how well everything was healing, and it still continues to do so. Thank you so much to all. And there is a big thanks for everyone who comes together with the intent of sending love and compassionate energy and benevolence to those who are requesting it. Even though there's a special place in our portal where you can submit a prayer request or asking for help for yourself or someone you know, the quantum field already knows what those requests are, both past, present, and in future. So if you're tuning into this program and you're not a member and you are in trouble, or you have someone in mind that you want to have included in this, this is your invitation to include them now. And so with that intent of us joining, or you have someone in mind that you want to have included in this, this is your invitation to include them now. And so with that intent of us joining together as old souls, as light workers, even if you've randomly come across this meditation, this moment, you are included in sending energy, letting those who are in trouble know that we are here to hold your hand. We are here to surround you with a bubble of peace, even if it's just for a moment of respite, that whatever you're going through, someone else has gone through it and come through the other side. And there is an energy of healing that is available to you. There is so much help, emotional help. It could be physical help. It could be something for yourself. It could be for someone that you love. All of them are known and supported by the invisible realm, the angelic realm. But there's also power and magic when human consciousness comes together with this specific intent as well, to amplify the effects of prayer and help. So in this visualization, just feel that everyone in that soup coming together is feeling complete relaxation, complete peace with wherever they are right now in this moment. Relaxation and peace, knowing that there is a stronger power than. So in this visualization, just feel that everyone in that soup coming together is feeling complete relaxation, complete peace with wherever they are right now in this moment. Relaxation and peace, knowing that there is a stronger power than any emotion altogether, and that is the energy of love and compassionate action. And so with that energy of love and compassionate action, let's now move into the next meditation with Kryon.
Greetings, dear ones. I'm Kryon. Come a little closer. This is the first circle of physical things of the planet. How did you get here? Is there something bigger you were never told? Are there energies afoot that would change things beyond anything you were told? Are any of the things that you have heard rumors of correct regarding these things? You're in the right place, if so. The Circle of 12 is for everyone. But there are so many coming on board, you might say, right now, who are there because there is something inside that has tweaked their interest, or someone has told them, just listen. There are no agendas here. Not really. If there were an agenda for myself, who are there because there is something inside that has tweaked their interest, or someone has told them, just listen. There are no agendas here. Not really. If there were an agenda for myself, my partner in the chair, the voice you're hearing, if there was an agenda, if there were one, it would be of love. That this planet is changing, and in that change, the radicalness of it is the spread of kindness and love and compassion and caring for one another. You've gone through now some decades of the internet, which has presented something that some of you didn't expect, or like yours. The language barriers have come down. Everything is translatable. And perhaps over these times, you've got to see something, that you're all alike. Truly, the cultures are different, but the human being, the worries are the same, the fears are the same, the enjoyments are the same. Parents want things for their children that they didn't have. Peace, perhaps. Beauty, perhaps. Less struggle, perhaps. It's universal. Everywhere you go on the planet, mothers will agree. This is what they want for their children. You take a look at what fathers want, and they will say, I would like for my children, for them not to be hungry, for them to find places. You take a look at what fathers want, and they will say, I would like for my children, for them not to be hungry, for them to find places and friends that they'll enjoy and love, like some of the ones that I found. I want this for them as well. Dear ones, these are universal truths. So I'm going to ask you, in the old times, and I mean maybe 50 or more years ago, the old energies, were you ever really told that? Did you think about that? What you were told is there's a culture over there that is your enemy. Or there is this culture and that culture, watch out because they're this way or that way. This has been the separation energy that you've always experienced on this earth because you never really. And now you can. And now you do almost every day, if you wish. Many of you have learned not to look at major media for your news and instead to look in places where the ones who are involved in these things are talking and spreading their experiences, and you can see it differently and you'll know it. Perhaps your heart will go out to those who are in trouble, even right now. And that was not doable. That was not even possible 20, 30 years ago. It is a different planet. I made a few statements back then, even before the internet was as popular as today. When it only began, I said there'd come a time when everybody could talk to everyone, there would be no more secrets. When it only began, I said there'd come a time when everybody could talk to everyone, there would be no more secrets. And that is also happening. So I'm going to give a New Year's Circle of 12 that is different from any you've experienced. Today you're going to cross the bridge with me to a place that is multidimensional. It's what we always do, and you're going to observe. You're going to observe something that I'm going to give you, and then you can react as you wish. Because in this place I take you, this multidimensional soul viewing area, you get to see things that not all can see. You view them from the platform of your own soul and divinity. An area that you have been seemingly restricted from going, but not really. It's only now that the fear is removed, and through your anticipation and free will, you'll cross the bridge with me. There is a bridge to cross. It means that you mean it. Quite simple, it is your intent to go there. The bridge is not important. How long it is, not important. How big it is, not important. It's just there. It crosses between what you think you know and what you absolutely can see. That which is what your programming is of a human being and the truth that the Creator has given you. Come with me. Let's cross the bridge now. Take my hand. Oh, there are some who are used to this and say, this I look forward to, and I want you to. But today, tonight, whenever you're viewing this, you're going to see something you didn't expect. This is a platform where you can be anywhere and do anything. I've taken you into the reaches of space here and asked you to watch things. I've taken you here to meet your own guides, your own past lives. I've taken you here to renew yourself. We're going to do that again, perhaps in the next weeks. But now I want you to go to this place and realize the entire area has now been filled with seats for you. It's not a theater. In fact, there's an ocean. And on this are two great giant ships, and you can tell what's about to happen. There's going to be a launch. Carefully constructed these ships are. They're the New Year ships, and they're going to be launched together. It's unusual. If there's going to be a New Year's launch, there's going to be one ship with one name, and it's going to be launched as an example of the new year and the new energy and all the things. A new beginning, a launching, a new ship. Bottle of champagne be struck against the side of it, and off it goes. The symbolism is great. All the chairs are there, thousands of them, comfortable, for you to watch this launch. This is unusual, isn't it? Have we ever taken you to a circle of 12 where we've asked you to watch two ships being launched? And the answer is no. Oh, there are so many surprises. But all and the answer is no. Oh, there are so many surprises. But all of them mean many things. Stop for a moment. This energy that you sit in is perfect. And what I mean by that, this is a time where anything can take place. Healing of the soul, healing of the body, healings of attitudes. This is your multidimensional home. You sit inside of your soul. Now, this is so different if you haven't experienced this before. So different than any meditation place you've ever been. It's not just quiet, it's you. You've crossed that bridge from the temporary human you to the, or even understand if it's said, because it's in light. This is your creative vessel, dear ones. It's home. And all these chairs are those who are sharing it with you, perhaps listening to this particular program, about to watch this metaphoric launch of 2 ships. The first time, you might say, where 2 ships have been involved. And some have said, well, that might mean that's a metaphor. There are 2 ships being launched, and I get to choose which one to be on. Not exactly. You see, the 2 ships being launched, now they've just come out of the dockyards. There's nobody on them yet. Typical of a true launch. You don't have all of those on it yet. That'll come later after it's outfitted and dressed. But there are all the other things. You might say that the ships are the color you wish them to be. They're both identical in a way of physicalness. Make them cruise liners if you wish, because humanity will be on board, you might say. Eventually, you might say. So make them beautiful if you wish. Make them any color you wish, but there are 2. Well, Klein, what's the difference? You'll see in a minute. Dear ones, it is very, very, I would say, clear that at a New Year's representation, that there would be a sameness. You launch 1 ship. It's called next year or this year. It has a number on it, perhaps 2020, or this year. It has a number on it, perhaps 2023. Well, let me tell you, they both do. You might say they both are named the same thing. There's got to be a name. So they are the 2023 ships. And they are almost ready to be launched. There is the typical, the brass band is there playing. There is a dignitary or 2. You can make up your mind who they might be. But it seems like there are 2 episodes going on here. The launch of 2 ships, simultaneous, a metaphor. But there's one big difference. The water. Oh, the water. It glows. You have never seen water like this on the planet. So you might say this is a telling water. This is a water that's going to ask you what it means. What is it? What color is it? The most pristine color of this water would be the turquoise, perhaps, that you've seen in those places in the south. But it's not. The water's gold, and it shimmers, and it's beautiful. Makes you want to even dip into it. And the first thing you see is that these ships are about ready to come down that slip, and the horns blow, and they come down identically. And you see both of them coming into that beautiful golden water. You haven't seen water react this way either. So interesting. One of the ships represents that which is humanity as it always has been. It says 2023, but it's a continuation of that which is the energy that has been with you for eons and eons and eons. It's a great ship, built well. It's lasted a long time. The other ship, 2023, it represents something that isn't here yet. It represents a new kind of humanity. And both are slipping into the ocean. But now I will ask you to see something you didn't expect. That gold ocean stand, and it holds its buoyancy, and it is filled with cheers of those who are seeing, there it is, it's the new ship. Yes, no one's on it yet, it has yet to be fitted out, but it floats, it's good, it's wonderful. And the other one, the gold ocean doesn't like it at all. In fact, you might see even some corrosion starting to appear immediately. In fact, more than corrosion, that ocean seeming is filling it with holes. That ship is sinking. How could you have a launch with a new ship built like the old ship and have the old one start to sink? It doesn't start to sink, it never floats. It slips into the sea. And the gold ocean covers it. Do I have to tell you what you just saw? And the gold ocean covers it. Do I have to tell you what you just saw? This is no longer your grandfather's world. The ways of the old cannot survive in the new ocean of light. The ocean will cover it and corrode it and not let it exist. It will go to its doom no matter how well it's built, or who runs it, or who launched it, or whatever name it has. It cannot exist. And that old ship of humanity, you might say, the energy represented there, will sink to the bottom. The new ship is buoyed up by the ocean of light and invites the passengers of humanity to board it, to learn how that ocean works, to understand the light it is being created. This is the launch of 2023 that I wanted you to see clearly, peacefully, and understand what is going on here. Totally, what is going on. I would love you to stay and think about these things. How does it affect you? Were you surprised one boat didn't make it? One ship. There is one left. The one that rides on light. I am Cryon, in love with humanity, filled with hope, where these things are happening all over. And so it is. That rides on light. I am Cryon, in love with humanity, filled with hope, where these things are happening all over. And so it is. Where these things are happening all over. And so it is.